Welcome to Tracy Erin Talks, where functional medicine meets personal development. You want to be living your best life, but the overwhelming amount of health information out there is confusing, and the way you think about yourself is keeping you stuck. You know you are meant for more. As a women's health specialist, my aim is to simplify and equip you with the tools you need to be beautifully balanced from the inside out. Welcome back to Tracy Erin Talks, where today I am talking about how I lost 40 pounds in 4 months. So let's start with a little bit of background. It would be fair to say that I have always been keenly aware of my weight. I grew up as a competitive swimmer, which gave me a pretty good shape and it kept me lean, helped me build a base of muscle mass I've always been thankful for, but I was never one of those skinny girls. I went away to college and I rode on the crew team and I experienced that usual freshman 10 or freshman 15 weight gain over the years of learning how to cook for myself, which meant opening a can of ragu sauce and pouring it cold over hot, freshly boiled noodles. Not so exciting. Or cereal and milk. Ate a lot of that in college too, and bread, lots of sandwiches and toast. So after getting engaged, eventually, I was focused on losing a little bit of extra fluff for that special day. And I followed the advice of the times, which was eat less and move more. So I just planned to eat less and less each day and exercise like a madwoman. So on the day of my wedding day, I was thinner than I had been in many, many years, and I had achieved my goal and I was excited about it. So I maintained that weight loss for the first year of my marriage. And then through a course of circumstances, my husband and I moved overseas and we lived in West Africa for the next following years. Now, during those years, my mother must have thought that I was starving because I was certainly the smallest and the lowest weight I have ever been. Now, I wasn't technically starving, but let's just say we didn't have grocery stores and markets with an abundance of food, and we certainly didn't have anything available to us that was processed. So, in one sense, it was good because we were eating just fresh, whole local foods because we literally lived out in the middle of nowhere. In another sense, we really became bare bones. And so, after returning home, my husband and I just slowly, gently added weight as we started back on our um, relatively healthy American diets. And then the babies started to come. My first pregnancy, I remember I gained 38 pounds and I was horrified. How could this possibly happen? I had never seen a number on the scale be so large for myself before. And afterwards, thankfully, with a lot of exercise and eating correctly and nursing, I was able to lose the weight. Well, eventually, 4 more babies came, and that number that I was originally horrified with, that number only grew, got bigger and bigger with each subsequent pregnancy. Thankfully, though, probably because of my sheer determination, I was able to lose the weight after every single pregnancy. Same strategy, just eating whole foods, eating less, nursing a lot, walking a lot, and also I started swimming again here and there. So fast forward to COVID, just a couple years ago, when I now joined the ranks of the rest of the world in gaining unwanted weight. I mean, there was supposed to be food shortages and world wars were going to be breaking out and everybody was going to be starving. And I certainly couldn't be one of those, right? So I packed on the extra pounds. I think all in all, I ended up being about 20 pounds higher than my what I would consider my set point. Now, when I say set point, it's interesting, right? Because I think our set point sort of changes throughout seasons in our life. But I remember years prior, 15 years ago, when I just started having babies, then I would gain weight during the pregnancy, lose the weight, and then what I would lose too would be that new set point. And I would waver a couple pounds above, couple pounds under. I could end up eating brownies and ice cream, be a couple pounds above. I could eat chicken and salad for the next couple days, be a couple pounds below, but I wouldn't really change from that set point. Well, probably by the end of that fifth pregnancy, the massive weight gain and then the eventual weight loss, that initial set point was probably 10 pounds higher, meaning no matter what I ate or no matter what I did, I stayed about at that number on the scale. Well, after COVID, it jumped up another 15 pounds, and it felt like no matter what I did, it was my body was accepting this new set point, and here's where I was. So I knew I had to do something about this. So I tried lots of things. I would fast for long periods of time. I would fast for short periods of time. I would do cleanses. I would do juice fasts. I would eat less. I would try this, try that. Nothing seemed to move that set point. I did a month of carnivore. I did a month of keto. Actually, I did several months of keto. I did months of just vegetables. I did the Whole30. I did cleansing type of diets where, raw food style things for a month at a time. I was always switching things up. And the needle would move, but not in the general sense. And all of a sudden, I felt completely stuck at this new set point. Unfortunately, that set point was 20 pounds higher than when I had started having babies. So I just knew that I was tired of myself. I was tired of telling myself that I would lose the weight and then I wouldn't. Every year, my family goes on a vacation to the beach where we camp for Mother's Day. And that would be like a mark on my calendar. Well, by the time I go to the beach, I will be XYZ. I will fit in these clothes. I will feel confident in this swimsuit. I will wear this on that. But you know what? May after May after May came around and I was still struggling. So I had to take a step back and realize that year after year, I was getting the same result, living in the same exact place. Now, what I know from transformational thinking and powerful mindset work is if you're getting the same results, it's because you have the same actions. And if you have the same actions, you have the same feelings that are leading you to take those actions. And those feelings, if they're the same, they're coming from certain thoughts that produce the same feelings. So those same thoughts, week after week, month after month, year after year, end up giving you this cycle of the same exact result. And that's how I knew something needed to change. So in February of 2024, I ended up finding myself at my highest weight yet. Just coming off the holidays in February, I was truly fat and happy, although not that happy. But I had been trying new restaurants. I was traveling and eating out of lots of fun, adventurous foods. I was cooking a lot of new recipes at home. I was finishing the food on my kids' plates. I was baking cookies all the time. I was just enjoying life, one bite at a time. But I knew that unless I wanted to be at the same place a year from now, I was going to have to do something different. I would have to get serious. I would need to be committed. So here's what I wanted. Deep down, I wanted to feel good in my body. I had forgotten what that was like, actually. I didn't want to hide behind my kids in photos anymore. I wanted to be able to try on clothes and have things fit based on my frame and not my body fat. Sometimes like you can't zip it, but it's because your rib cage, or you can't zip it, but because you got like a whole layer of fat around there. I wanted it to be because my actual shoulders were too wide, or my rib cage, or my hip bones, not necessarily the shape of all this extra padding that I had accumulated over the years. I really wanted to have that experience of trying on clothes and things working for my body or not for my body, but not being limited by my weight. And you know what? Deep down, what I really wanted was to love myself. And what I mean by that is I wanted to know that I could keep a promise to myself. I wanted to know that I could make a goal and keep it. I wanted to manage and master myself. One, it would boost my confidence, but two, it would just give me that at home feeling where you can create the life that you want to have. I really, really wanted that deep down. So here's the things that I did. I woke up every day, except for many Sundays, but most days I woke up and I walked for a 50-minute minimum. There is a route in my neighborhood leaving my house. And here's the thing about walking, right? All you need is walking shoes. I left my house and I walked and walked and walked until I eventually found a route that was interesting enough to me that I could do day after day, not have to create a new route every single time. And I knew exactly how long it would take me. I knew the mileage. I knew where I would encounter traffic and where my favorite part of the route was. I actually passed an elementary school on my route. And so I calculated things like, when is that school drop-off line happening? Because that stuff is crazy. These parents wait in lines forever. Things I'll never understand as a homeschool parent. But anyway, I would coordinate around the school schedule, so I knew I wouldn't have to walk past this huge line of exhaust cars. And anyway, then you get to the end and I turn around and come back. And that took me, well, when I first started, it took me about 56 minutes. And now it takes me 48 minutes exactly. And it was just enough for me. I wish actually it were 60 minutes, but I haven't found a way to add just another 10 minutes on where I'm not crossing a major route of traffic yet. So 50 minutes. I woke up and I did that every single morning. No headphones, no music, no podcast. Me and nature. Sometimes my husband joined me on this route, walking at a comfortably fast pace. So not a leisure walk, comfortably fast pace there and back. Now, when my kids swim during practice and I'm the one dropping them off and picking them up, I have another route at that location, which takes me about 90 minutes. And I love that location. I'm not there all the time though. But anyway, I would walk every day for either 50 minutes or 90 minutes. On most days, I would then walk a second time for another 50 minutes. So some days I would do that route twice. Or some days I would do that 90-minute route. And in the evening, I would do that 50-minute route. Another thing that I did is I woke up every day and I put 4 to 5 drops of lemon oil in a cup of water that I would drink upon waking, to wake up my digestion, to get my metabolism going. And it was the first thing that I would consume every single day. As far as coffee, I started drinking it black. No cream, no lattes. So boring. After exercise, so it ended up being around 9 or 10 a.m. when my day was getting started. So after I had been up, got all my exercise in, come home, made breakfast for the family, etc. Only then, once I got my day started, would I have that cup of coffee. And here's how I changed my diet. This was my simple but not easy plan. Every single meal had 30 grams of lean protein, unlimited low-carb vegetables, 1 tablespoon of fat per meal, electrolytes, just powder in my water twice a day, and 0 alcohol. So that's what I did. I'll say it again. 30 grams of lean protein per meal, unlimited low carb vegetables. If I was ever hungry, I could snack on cucumbers all day long. Carrots? No. Cucumbers? Yes. Celery? Yes. Green salads, unlimited amounts. Broccoli, unlimited amounts. Cauliflower, unlimited amounts, but only 1 tablespoon of fat per meal. The electrolytes really helped with my hunger. It really helped with my energy levels. And the no alcohol is absolutely key if you are trying to lose weight. Now, the very last month, so I'm talking 40 pounds in 4 months. So, not until the fourth month did I incorporate weight training or anything other than walking. I found this amazing book by Habit Nest, and it's the dumbbell version, dumbbell training at home or something like that. And I ended up buying several copies for my balanced hormone solution clients, and I cannot wait to share it with them. I love opening the book and seeing what exercises I have to do for the day. Tells me exactly what to do with a simple set of dumbbells. You can do it all at home. And I'm on my third week now, and I notice a lot of strength and definition just by doing these exercises every single day that it tells me what to do. And so it's just an open and go, no brainer, which is great for me and my busy life. So I don't have to make one more decision. So during this time, when I started this back in February, I had mentioned it to my family that I was going to be eating a certain way and eliminating certain foods. And, it was a little bit of like, hey, so when you make cookies, mom won't be having any. This was like throwing that out there. Well, my oldest son was like, well, I want to lose some body fat. I'm really into bodybuilding and I want abs. I want to get super cut. So I want to do this too. So he joined in the forces and he ended up losing 12 pounds very quickly, like in 2.5 months, dropped significant body fat, got those abs that he wanted, and is now very, very lean. And my husband did it with me as well, and he lost 25 pounds. So I just tell you that to say it wasn't just me that experienced results, but this plan absolutely works. So, what were some secrets to my success? I've thought about how did this work for me? Why did it work for me? Why was it this and not those other things that I tried? What was different for me this time? Really tried to get to the bottom of some of these questions. And for me, I just opened up a notes app in my phone. And whenever I thought about something that really contributed to my success, I wrote it down. So I ended up over the course of the last month with 10 secrets to my success, which I'm going to share with you right now. The first one is I defined my why. Now, this is something that I have my clients do because I recognize that in order to make any significant change in your life, you've got to get laser focused on why you want the change. It's really easy to give up. It's really easy to be swayed by the mood of the day. But if you have your why really, really clear, why you want to lose weight, why you want to feel better, why you don't want to wake up to headaches every day, why you want better periods, why you don't want to go into menopause on a bunch of medications or um, you struggle with type 2 diabetes, like why do we want to exercise every single day so we can squat when we're older and pick up things on the floor and right? So like when we know our why, it really helps us when that that version of ourselves informs us. It helps us make the decisions that we make today. So that's why it's so important. Number 2 is that I knew my future self. I got very specific and detailed about who she is, about what she looks like, about what she wears, about how she carries herself, about how she walks into a room full of people she doesn't know, about how she goes into a dressing room and tries on a bathing suit. Horrors, right? I knew what she would pack on vacation. I knew how she would feel in certain clothes. I knew what she would think about herself. I knew the self-talk that was going on inside of her brain. I got really, really focused on who my future self was, and I began to envision and become intimately acquainted with who she is every single day. And just like defining my why, those two things go together. They really helped me and guided the present decisions that I needed to make in order to get to who she is. Number three is I had to create new thoughts in order to get new results. There's no other way. You can't keep doing the same thing and get a different result. And even though I knew that logically, I wasn't living that. So I made that a reality in my life that I had to choose different actions if I wanted different results. So things like one cookie is enough. I don't need three of them. Or I can get all the flavor that I want from two street tacos. I don't need four or five, even though they're so little. They're like 2 bites to one taco. But you know what I'm saying? I had to redefine what satisfaction meant to me. So instead of eating at a party or even my house or out at a restaurant and finishing all the food in front of me, because I tend to have a pretty healthy, big appetite, I certainly can eat quite a bit. I had to redefine what that meant to me so that I realized that I didn't need all that I was giving myself, because everything that I was giving myself was storing on my body. And I didn't want that storage. So then I had to really think through, did I want that bite? So I had to work myself backwards in terms of redefining what that type of satisfaction that people commonly get from food and experiences that involve food and shared experiences with others. I had to redefine all of that. Number four is I had to create a plan. I needed something to follow, and I needed something that was simple, even though it wasn't easy. I needed something that was simple to reduce decision fatigue. All day, every day, us women have to make 1,000 decisions. What's for breakfast? What's for lunch? What's for dinner? Those are only 3 out of at least 1,000, right? And I'm exaggerating a little bit there, but maybe not. We might make more decisions than 1,000 in a day. I don't know. It's probably been studied. But I do know that the more plans are the set plans that I have in my life, the easier things flow, because I don't get caught up in swaying away from the goal. If I have to decide every single day what I'm going to eat, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to eat what I want to eat, right? And that's going to lead into the next one. But before I get there, I needed a plan just to eliminate that decision of this or that. What's for lunch? Oh no, I'm late. Oh, I've got to go early. Oh, guess what? I've got food in the fridge. I've meal prepped. I know exactly what I can eat. Oh, hey, you want to go to lunch with friends today? Absolutely, because I know what I can eat and I know what I can't, and I stick to the plan. There's no, oh, but that looks really, really good. Nope, I have a very specific, controlled amount and type of food that I can eat. That plan all of a sudden eliminates for me all these other decisions, so that at the end of the day, I could have eaten out. I could have eaten last minute. I could have made something else, but I was always according to plan. Which leads me to number 5. This is one of the most important changes that took place in my life. And it's that I followed the plan and not my mood. This, my friends, is a secret to success. So what this would look like is I would watch my family enjoy delicious food. I even made it for them. I mean, that's torture of all tortures, right? Make all this delicious food and you not eat it yourself. But I would watch them and I was happy for them. I knew that it tasted good and I knew it was nourishing their bodies, and I knew that we were sharing a family experience, even if I was not putting that particular forkful into my mouth. So it didn't mean that I couldn't participate. I just found other ways to participate. And sometimes that was simply by just being there at the table, even if it meant I was eating my own food every once in a while. Now, what I tended to do was I would cook the meat and vegetables for everyone and then just add a carb for the kids. That's the easiest thing, right? If you're making hamburgers for everyone, I'm having mine over a salad or in a lettuce wrap, but they're getting the bun. Or if I'm doing, a delicious crock pot curry or butter chicken or something, I'm having mine in a bowl over green beans or broccoli, and they're having theirs over rice. That's the easiest thing. So I'm not cooking multiple meals or like lots of different meals at the same time. So I had to create new thoughts also about like what I deserved and wanted and should be able to eat. I listened and learned my self talk, and I would hear myself follow my mood. Oh, well, I should be able to eat that because, oh, well, we're gonna get home too late. I don't want to do dishes. We should just do this. All of that. Oh, but I love this. And every time this comes around, I always get this, right? When you start to pay attention to these things, you notice these patterns and you notice what your brain is telling you over and over and over. And these are the moods to keep you comfortable, safe, and right where you are. And this, my friends, is not how you make any change in your life. So the the secret, why it's a secret, is that you have to learn how to listen to it, acknowledge it for what it is, and ignore it and follow the plan. That takes tremendous strength, but you get better at it the more you practice it. So number 6, one of my secrets to success is that I weighed myself daily. I only skipped a couple days here and there. Now, that might be a trigger for some of you, and you might tell me all the reasons why I shouldn't need to weigh myself, and it's about how I feel, and it's not a number on a scale, and all the things that we hear nowadays. But for me, I needed to see the number decreasing. I had a goal number inside my head, and I wanted to get there. And listen, I've done lots of attempts at weight loss and never weighed myself, and it didn't work. I needed a way to provide concrete evidence that what I was doing was working. And you can't beat a scale. You just simply cannot beat a scale. Now, I guess there's a lot of caveats here. If there's history of eating disorders or some type of body dysmorphia, etc., there are times in certain situations where things need to be handled sensitively. Absolutely. Totally get it. But for me and my experience, one of my secrets to actually succeeding in losing 40 pounds in 4 months was that I weighed myself just about every single day. And seeing that number move regularly gave me more fuel, more desire to stick to that plan and less to that mood. Number 7 is something called hierarchy of desires. So it's this idea of like, which one do you want more? I had to think like, oh, but I really want to eat that. Do you want to eat that? Or would you rather slide into a pair of size 4 white jeans? You have a choice. Which one would you rather have? Do you want this momentary, instant gratification? Or do you want this long-term satisfaction of being able to wear all the clothes in your closet and then some? Do you want to feel good in a bathing suit? Or do you just have to have French fries right now? So that hierarchy of desire like helps you create your own levels. And it helps you decide, I want this, and then I want this, and then I want this. But the highest thing I want is this. And for me, for a 4-month period, I made the goal and I decided that at the top of my hierarchy was to lose the weight and achieve my weight loss goal. Anything that came underneath that was not nearly as important. But it's not that it didn't tempt me, and it's not that it didn't try to sway me. It's that I kept that hierarchy of desires right in front of my face. And if you're looking for tips, like you can write Post-it notes, put them on your bathroom mirror. You can change your screensaver. You can have other people in your family remind you. You can have these external things. For me, I just kept it in mind. I had a number in my head, and that's where I knew I needed to go. And that's what I wanted more than the cookie, the taco, the hamburger, the lunch out with my husband, the birthday dinner here, etc. Number 8 is that I knew that I needed the mental game plan when I wasn't going to see results. Because when you're stepping on that scale every day, it's just like healing. It's not linear. It's going to go up and down and around, and your overall trajectory is going to be going in the same place. I mean, in a positive direction, right? A month from now, you'll feel better than you do today, but you're not going to get better, 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 better every single day. I tell my clients that all the time. You might have some setbacks. You might make a couple steps forward, a couple steps back, but overall, are you heading towards optimal health? Yes. Okay, this trajectory is working for you. Well, for me, I knew I needed that same kind of mental game plan because I wasn't going to lose pounds every single time I stepped on the scale. And I wasn't going to um, see the results for a long period of time. 40 pounds is a lot of weight. So it's like I wasn't going to fit in those pants I wanted to fit in. I wasn't going to feel confident in a picture right off the bat. But what do I do in the meantime? Right. So in the beginning, it's like forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do. But eventually, you get to that point where you can't imagine a day without walking 2 hours or eating to fuel your body. I mean, imagine that. It's like your whole priorities change. When you start to crave, I start to like, my day doesn't go right unless I walk for at least an hour a day. My day doesn't go right unless I am eating 30 grams of protein and a ton of vegetables every single day. Now, that's not what I've always done, but that's what worked for me in this 4-month period to lose the 40 pounds. So you need to know that you're not going to wake up tomorrow and be at your goal. So you have to have that mental fortitude to be consistent to get there. And you will get there if you keep doing the right things. Number 9 is a parenting strategy that a friend of mine who is older than me, when I first started to have babies, she had 6 daughters. She was a beautiful woman. She seemed to have everything under control. And I asked her one day for parenting advice, and she told me this. She said, the best thing I can say is that you work now so you can rest later. That is so applicable to everything in our lives. It has been the most profound piece of advice I think I have ever received. So here's the idea is like, what do you do to get to whatever you do to get to your goal must be more extreme than your maintenance plan. If you keep doing your maintenance plan, guess where you're going to be? At maintenance. But if you do something beyond maintenance, stricter than maintenance, harder than maintenance, more severe than maintenance, guess what? You can now actually move the needle and create different results. So I had to work now. I could rest in maintenance later, but I had to work now so that I could get to where I wanted to go. And then I could rest. So, last secret to my success, number 10. I had to rewire my mindset about pleasure. So instead of enjoying a lovely date at a restaurant with my husband, we found other things to do that weren't food centric. Now, this one is hard. I mean, think of in a 4-month period of time, in a family of 7 people, we've got birthdays, we've got anniversaries, we've got Mother's Day, we've got holidays, we've got Father's Day. We have all kinds of things coming up. And to make these things not food centric is something that was difficult for my family because I have raised my children in a home with a lot of homemade, fresh cooking, a lot of like cinnamon rolls on Christmas morning and big breakfasts for birthdays and special dinners and all these kinds of things. So I knew that I had to rearrange and shift this so that it still felt like celebrating without all the extra calories. So here's a creative thing that we did. So Mother's Day was smack dab in the middle or the tail end really of these 4 months. And so I had recently gotten my colors professionally done. Now, there's 2 podcasts about this. Actually, one I interviewed my stylist, Katie Dawson. You should absolutely listen to that. She explains the whole process in a really fascinating way. And then another one, I talk about the 5 investments that have elevated my self-image. getting my colors matched is 100% on my top 5 best experiences that I've done for myself. And so what we ended up doing is I thought, you know, it'd be so fun. We did this the week before we went to the beach. I told my husband, what if we all go to the mall? Like, I know it sounds terrible, right? With a bunch of kids, but they're all older now and they actually kind of like the mall now because they're a little bit more into style and caring about their image and all that. So I said, what if we go to the mall and we just go for an afternoon and they take my color wheel and I'll be there, of course, but they take my color wheel and we go into a store and they pick out clothes and outfits for me and I'll wear them at the beach. But the only caveat is that, you know, I can veto anything that I don't want to wear. And also it has to be part of my color scheme. Let's get some new clothes that really fit in line with my new colors. So we ended up doing this and it was so much fun. It was like a little fashion show for the family. I would go into the dressing room, they would hand me shirts. Try this, try this. Got some overalls, got some cute pants, got some sundresses, some t-shirts, all in my new colors. And it was just a lot of fun to have these kids pick out clothes for me. And it just felt special. It was like a very special Mother's Day. So instead of waking up and having a bunch of sweets and doing a big dinner out, and, you know, we just made it like an activity that wasn't centered around all the food. And that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing that. So now here I am. Here's my result. I'm 40 pounds lighter and I feel amazing. I feel confident and sexy and light and little. I can fit into all my clothes, even the skinny clothes that I held on to for many years, hoping that one day they would fit. That strategy actually worked for me. People said it never would work, but it actually worked. I'm glad I held on to some of these things. I get told things like, wow, you're glowing, instead of like, hey, have you lost weight? Which is fine. It feels like a taboo thing to say anyway, but you know, hey, I will gladly take that compliment. So what now? What is the plan moving forward? Well, my plan is to maintain my results. So in my maintenance phase, I don't have to be as strict. I can enjoy date nights now and birthday cake on occasion, and every once in a while, a special glass of wine. But I recognize that if I go back to eating according to my mood, I'm going to start to gain the weight back. If I don't stick to new actions, I won't keep my new results. So there's always going to be a plan in place because that plan gives me purpose. So my focus on walking will shift to probably just once a day instead of twice a day. And I'm going to focus more on building more muscle. So muscle is your longevity organ. The more muscle you have, the longer you live, they say. And I want as much of it as I enjoy looking at on my body. Now, I only say this because in my past, I've done all kinds of athletic endeavors, including weightlifting and CrossFit. And while I loved the strength that it gave me, I didn't always love the bulk of the muscle that I built. I am, is it a endomorph or an ectomorph? It's the one where I am a little bit um, shorter and muscly and curvy instead of like super long and lean. So I can lift weights for a short period of time and all of a sudden I have, you know, more defined muscles. So I don't want to go back to being like super bulky, but I want enough muscle that gives me a beautiful feminine shape and gives me strength and increases that longevity organ in my body. I will plan to move my nutrition in these ways. I'm going to up my protein to 40 grams a meal. So instead of 90 grams a day, I'll be shooting for 120 grams a day. I'm going to stick with unlimited low carb vegetables. It's been tremendous for my hormones, excellent for my digestive tract. We need a lot of fiber. We need to be moving our bowels. We need to really, really increase. The amount of vegetables people eat is way, way too low. This has been huge for me. But I will incorporate more higher carb vegetables after exercise. Like if I exercise in the morning or do my walking and weightlifting in the morning, I'll have higher carb meal at lunch. But by higher carb, I mean adding in sweet potatoes and beets and carrots and tomatoes. Occasionally I love a good French fry. Occasionally a good French fry, but I'm going to do that after exercise or unless it's a special occasion like a birthday or something like that. And with that said, I'm going to weigh myself once a week instead of daily. And here's the reason why is that weighing yourself is an amazing feedback mechanism, right? It's like sort of trying on clothes. Like if you wear fitted clothes, as opposed to like going back to like the big maxi dresses that I used to like to wear or hiding under these shapeless outfit, I can ask myself, like when I put my jeans on, do they fit? Are they a little too tight? Where are they too tight? What's going on? No, they don't fit. Well, it's time to do something about it now and not wait until this 3 pounds is 10 pounds and then eventually 20 pounds. So wearing fitted clothes is actually a really great feedback mechanism. And so is periodic weighing of yourself. So I will move it from every day to once a week just so I can make sure that I'm keeping on track. So this is a lot of what I do inside the balanced hormone solution. Our month one is all focused on insulin and blood sugar balancing. We eventually move into specific nutrition plans. Some people choose this plan, this simple, not easy plan like I'm describing here. Some people go into a maintenance mode because they've got a lot more activity going on in their life or they don't have weight to lose. But everybody, I've not met anybody who doesn't need some blood sugar balancing help. And this meal is really, really insulin friendly. So in my balanced hormone solution program, we focus on that insulin. We focus on that cortisol before we ever get to estrogen and progesterone. So this is exactly what I do. So if you're looking for this kind of plan and support, let's talk about working together. As you can tell, I've been there and I know that I can help you. So where am I at now? I have no regrets. All of the times I declined a drink or a cookie or a bun for my burger, it's all brought me to where I am today. Today, I not only like myself, but I love myself. I like catching myself in the mirror or trying on new clothes. It's fun for me now. And I'm not just talking about liking myself, like liking my looks. I love my strength that I have found to do hard things. I love my patience and perseverance with myself. I love that I made a promise to myself and I kept it. It makes me feel unstoppable. I feel really, really proud of myself. The inner courage and determination is what I think comes out when people say, "Oh, you're glowing." I think that's what they're referring to. And that's a gift that only I could give myself. And it's priceless. If this hits home for you, I want to encourage you to start today, not tomorrow. Don't make tomorrow your day. Make it today. Start right now. Define your why. Get to know your future self and make a plan that you can stick to. Don't be swayed by the moods of the day. If you can get there, you will find more benefits than just simply being lighter on a scale. You're going to find a whole new you. And this new you can do anything she sets her mind to. I cannot wait to hear from you about how this episode is speaking to you and what kind of change it will help you to create in your own life. I am cheering for you. Until next time, stay beautifully balanced. Thank you for joining me today on Tracy Erin Talks. I hope you found today's episode enriching to your life. If you enjoyed today's content, would you consider subscribing to the podcast and leaving a review? That simple act helps this podcast get into the hands and ears of many more women just like you. Remember, anything you want and do not yet have will require a new set of beliefs, thoughts, actions, and a new you. I am honored to be on this journey with you as we wholeheartedly pursue true,
health and wellness in mind, body, and soul.